everybody, we have new cards, finally. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up a little bit. We have been counting down the days. If you have watched any of my casts or streams lately, you know that we have been waiting for these cards for quite some time, mainly because we are sick and tired of PNZ getting no love. But let me tell you, PNZ has gotten plenty of love now with these new cards being released. So I want to go ahead and get into the cards, quick review of them. There was actually one spoiled on Sunday, the day of the seasonal, and then they spoiled a bunch more today. So we're going to get through all those right now. So don't turn away. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's get into these brand new cards for Legends of Runeterra. Alright, so we change it up every time, but this time we gonna go through the video that was actually on their channel, or not on their channel, Jesus, their Twitter, that thing, which is usually, if you guys don't know, they reveal these on Twitter first and foremost. This is where you're gonna find them, is on Twitter. So I think it was like 1 p.m. Eastern time. Now it was 12 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to do that, go for it. Just hit that refresh button every damn day until the set comes out, and you'll get those cards at noon. It looks like moving forward. So let's get right into it here. And actually, so we're gonna do the one they revealed on Sunday last. We're gonna go through this video first, and then we'll pop up that one at the end. So we got a little bit of an interesting 2-mana spell here. So you see these 3 cards pop up, which actually is going to give us a hint here. I'm going to pause it and actually I think I'm going to go ahead and make myself smaller here. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Actually, you know what? No, forget that. We're going over here. Hi, guys. We on this side now. All right, so 2-mana, burst speed, calculated creations. Create an armed gearhead, Niandroid, or ballistic bot in hand. So you just saw it pop up there in the animation. This does look like create is referring to choose. Or for you Hearthstone players that are just now making the transition, smart move, you get to basically discover a card. You pick one, it goes into your hand, you get to play it. So this is a 2-mana burst speed. I'm going to go ahead and continue playing through this so you can kind of get a sense of the other card not too. So, alright, well apparently this doesn't want to work with me right now, so I'm moving my video to the middle right here. So it doesn't matter where the cards pop. I swear to God, if it pops up one in the middle, not going to be a happy camper. So Ballistic Bot is one of the 3 that you can get. Augment, round start, create an ignition in hand. So Augment is this new keyword that they have created. Basically, every time you play a created card, so keyword play there means that it needs to be from your hand. So something that summons something to the field, like Wraithcaller as an example, even though that's a created card, it is not played, so it's not going to trigger this effect. So you do need to actually play from your hand. It gets +1 attack for every time you play a created card, right? So, and then round start. Round start. That means it's not just a one-time effect. Actually, the first time I read this card, I thought it was a one-time effect. This means at every single round, you're going to get an ignition, which you're going to see here in just a second. There's the augment keyword. When you play a created card, grant me +1/+0. Ignition is... Oh, they show it at the end. All right, hold on. Let me go to the end here. Ignition... God, I'm spoiling all these cards. Man, they really got to work on the order that they show these. All right, ignition. 1, slow speed, fleeting, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. So... Fleeting, you can't hold on to him, keep him for this big old, combo turn. Because the first thing that comes to mind, right, is like Ezreal. You just blow these all off with Ezreal, you're good to go. But this is still really good. This is the first hint that you're going to see, and that you just briefly saw another card that they spoiled. This is the first hint at Burn PNZ that we have. And I like it because non-champion Burn PNZ or Noxus PNZ from the past was incredible. It was probably one of the best burn decks, if not the best burn, with old school Boom Crew Rookie that you could possibly get. This seems great. 1 for 1 is, decent cost, so it's not too bad whatsoever. And more importantly, you can combo it with other things. So we did just see Funsmith get buffed. I am very much looking forward to Funsmith being in burn decks now. I think that we might have a spell-oriented Funsmith deck that is now possible. Now, granted, it might not be with this 2-mana burst speed spell that we just kind of went through here in... God, I already forgot the name of it. Man, I'm going to have to remember these now since I'm a caster. Calculated creations. I don't necessarily think this is going to be a great card, and I'll get into that in a second, but this armed gearhead, though, or sorry, this is ballistic bot that we just saw first. This, I think, is going to be incredible for burn decks. A 2 mana, if you notice, there's a rarity on it, so it is actually a card in the set. 2 mana, 1/3 is already decent stats. Like, that's War Chef, all right? Now, granted, War Chef was much better at 2/3, but then you have the additional effect. This is Augment on top of Round Star, creating Ignition in hand. I think this card's actually super OP. Like, really OP. This enables the P&Z burn archetype. So, this, I think, you're going to see this archetype come out. This is going to be a 3 of. 100%. Hands down. Calling it now. Some of the other cards that they have in this, though, that you pick from when you play that original 2 mana burst speed. We got Armed Gearhead. I think this is terrible. It's Augment and then Quick Attack. So, it's cheap, right? But something to take into consideration, too. Like, I just mentioned it with this last card. That's a 2 mana 1/3, but not really if you play it with that 2 mana burst speed. Then it becomes a 4 mana 1/3 with that effect, which seems very bad, right? Or not actually bad. That one doesn't seem terrible with that 2 mana added on top. But 2 + 1 here would be 3. 3 mana for a 1/1 quick attack with Augment. Not feeling it. Now, just look at it alone. If you're playing it in like an aggro deck, not feeling it. Precious Pet. Like, if you compare this to something like Precious Pet, like some of these 1 mana, or like Zonite Urchin is a 1 mana, or some of the other ones that kind of get added effects as you go throughout the game. Like, one of them is Green Glade Caretaker. We see a lot now, where later on in the game it's suddenly like 38 attack. I just don't like this as much. Augment seems like a much harder effect to trigger than something like Barrier, as an example, with Caretaker. And 1 health is a super disadvantage. So then that's why I'm more apt to compare it to something like Precious Pet and Zonite Urchin, because 1 health is a huge difference. You can Static Shock. It dies to any sort of AoE removal. Withering Wail kills it. So I actually think this is kind of a really bad card. But, it's filler for the Augment archetype, I guess. And it could still have a design space. Quick Attack is a big deal if your opponent doesn't deal with it. And getting your opponent to invest any sort of removal on a 1 mana dinky unit like this does feel a little good. But, yeah, overall, I don't think this is going to see a ton of play. Next up, we got the cat, the one and only. It has evolved. It is Nyandroid. I think this card is legit busted. No, not busted, just really good. I think everybody's inclination when they see an elusive card is, holy Jesus, elusive is broken. We need it nerfed. I mean, elusive's pretty strong, not gonna lie. But this is, and I'm gonna move my picture over again so you guys can fully see the card. 3 mana. Okay, so again, let's look at it on its own without the 2 mana spell. 3 mana 1/3 elusive feels okay on its own, right? If you compare it to Shadow Assassin, you're trading 1 health for a draw. Shadow Assassin feels a little bit better in that case, and that's why we're getting this augment ability added on top here. So, but the big deal I think here is that it is 3 health, because it does survive something like an Avalanche, and when you're playing an aggressive deck and you're trying to go in for those attacks with an elusive unit, you do need to be outside of that AoE. And, especially now we're seeing a lot of Withering Wail and Avalanche played. I think this would stick around in the field a lot longer. And I don't think it would be incredibly hard to get this up pretty high. If you pair it with that other 2-drop that gives you that 1 mana deal 1 damage every single turn, you're basically getting +1 attack. So that 1 mana slow deal 1 damage actually turns into 2 damage, because you're giving possibly more, because you're giving everything else on the field attack as well. So I like that particular with Nyandroid and the other one, the 2-drop one. I think that they will work very well together. I think the 1-drop one is screwed. I think nobody's going to really play that. But the other thing is with that spell, though, I don't think the spell is going to be in a spot to really be played right now. There's a lot of other... I'm just thinking of burn right now, because that's who I am. That's what I do. But there is... You start looking at gems, you pair this with something like Targon. Gems are created cards, plus they increase attack. So now you're like tripling down on, imagine getting gems every turn on top of that 2-drop, creating the 1 damage spell. You got cards on cards on cards to buff these attacks really quick. So there's that route. Maybe there's a P&Z Targon burn deck, which seems really weird to say, but with something like Pale Cascade as well, I think it's 100% doable. Pale Cascade now saves this from something like Grasp, if Grasp becomes, main deckable. or sorry, not main deckable. It is main deckable, but if people main deck it more, then I think that's a good counter to that. So I see a lot of, Draven, spinning axes. Those are created. They also add attack. You can also discard other created cards like these fleeting 1 damage spells that you have. So a lot of synergies, a lot of different decks. Another thing I want to mention too, that is a burst speed spell, and I think we see something else here too. But just what's that? Oh man, the one that reduces cost by the burst speed cost by 1. I totally forget the name of the card. Cloud Drinker. Ha! Knew it. That's something to think about as well. If you have Vault Breaker is in PNZ. You reduce that. That's a created card. Now you can suddenly up the attack and play more Vault Breakers, and there's a lot of combo things that come up with these cards. So I really like overall the card design of all this entire set right here of these created cards is on point. I think it allows so much as far as design space is concerned with other regions. That's one of the things I've always loved about this game, where every region feels like it has an archetype with every region. That's a very predefined. This, my favorite card out of all of this released, Hex Core Foundry. Woo! Man, this is interesting. Similar to Veteran Investigator. I know everybody's first thought is going to go, hey man, play Teemo. You're trolling. Teemo is definitely going to continue to be fun to play because of this card, so let's put that out there. Do I think Teemo will be competitive because of this card? No, because at the end of the day, a lot of times, giving your opponent more cards is just bad. So, I mean, yeah, sure, they take 1 or 2 shroom damage early on, but I think that early card advantage will be able to just seal the deal for them anyways, depending on their strategy. But anyways, forget Teemo. I'm thinking Mill. I, a long time ago, was trying to do Maokai with PNZ. The idea is you level Maokai, and then you have something like, because he's Shadow Isles, 2 Veteran Investigator, plus I think Shadow, I don't know, something that summoned a Veteran. Basically, you had enough Veteran Investigators to have your opponent draw all 4 cards immediately. It's kind of like a 1-turn kill. You play the leveled Maokai, and then you play out your hand, and it was do it in basically 13 mana. So you had 4 for the Maokai, and then you play the rest of the mana on cards that would have your opponent draw cards to just lose the game. And this promotes that strategy. It also helps you draw the cards that you need faster, like Maokai, like more units to die for the Maokai win con, like Veteran Investigator. So I think this is really interesting for Mill, and I'm very curious to see it because this can be used outside of Mill too. That's the thing, right? There's a lot of in other games, a lot of OTK strategies and whatnot have come about through you and your opponent drawing cards, because at the end of the day, the more cards you draw is actually better, statistically speaking, than your opponent drawing more cards. So you don't mind if your opponent draws cards, right? Because your OTK will just end the game. So I really like this card. I think it's great cost. I think everything about it is perfect, and I'm very excited to start playing with this. And I think that was... and then Aftershock. Woo! All right, we got Gotcha, right? This is like Gotcha, except now you don't have the cost reduction, and the trade for that is you can now send this at face. This is, in my eyes, a better Decimate. You're getting 1 less cost that their cost, the way they cost cards in this game is so on point. For Decimate, comparing this to Decimate, you're paying 1 less, you get 1 less damage. However, you can now also target a unit, Decimate cannot, and you can destroy a landmark if you need to. Now, that's probably more of a fringe use, and it's going to be more of a heavily teched thing based on the meta. But 3 damage at Funsmith, please be a thing. This is amazing. This paired with that other 2-cost bot that gives you the 1 damage spell every turn, Ignition, that's amazing. I am very excited to just play straight up PNZ burn. And I think this is why they saved it for last, because our previous meta was very burn heavy before Call of the Mountain. Call of the Mountain came out, and it slowly has been shifting towards more of a control meta, i.e. we see Twisted Fate go hard. We see Eclipse Control, whatever else you want to think of. This is burn. We are now entering the Go Face era of Legends of Runeterra. You heard it here first. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I do have high hopes for PNZ after seeing these cards, which says something, because the first card they revealed I was not so high on. So what I'm going to do is actually go over to that one real quick, which is also on their Twitter. This is where they revealed Augment, and this is... I mean, here, let me move my picture again. Grant me all keywords on allies. I mean, I'm not crazy about this. I like this because of, like, you had that card Give It All that was released, so maybe there's some kind of like fun deck that you can make with that. But that's all this I think is, that Give It All card, and this card, the whole Give Me All Keywords thing, similar to like Fluff of Poros, I think is still in a space of being a fun deck or a meme deck. So I saw this and I'm like, man, 5 cost 3/4. This seems terrible. Like, what? Why is this? Why does this exist? It makes more sense with the augmented stuff, especially if if you're playing the other 1, 2, and 3 cost cards. This is kind of like if you put them all in a deck together, you throw this down on turn 5. Suddenly she has quick attack and elusive. Pretty nuts, right? But yeah, I don't think this is not that good. This is not gonna be played. So let's just forget this one was released. But overall, everything was pretty good. And that's it. That's the new cards. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think this means we're getting a champion reveal tomorrow, if my memory serves me correctly. Usually they lead with cards, followed by a champion. Really hoping so, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be a certain someone that we have no idea who it's going to be, because nothing ever gets spoiled by people on Reddit. For real, though, I'm going to toss this out there. If you are somebody who has spoiled something in the past, as much as I like spoilers, as much as the next guy or girl, I also hate them. It's cool because you're like, oh man, new cards, like I get to see what it is because everybody likes card reveals. But it messes up the actual card reveal. And that's where all of the hype is trying to be drawn to. So if you are somebody who considers spoiling cards sometimes, don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me when I tell you, when you wait for things, generally it's a lot cooler when they come out, when they're supposed to come out. And I mean, we're in a day and age where it's really hard to hide shit nowadays, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So, but with that said, awesome card. Super excited for P&Z Burn. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Obviously, you're going to like the video because this game is awesome and these cards are awesome. So go ahead and do that real quick. I'll wait. Seriously, no. Do it. Turn the bell on so you get notified when all the rest of the spoiler videos go up this week. Also got some tournament footage from the latest OLS going up. Also had the ASMR cast that we did go up earlier today. Check that out. God bless your soul. And yeah, as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.